Welcome to Scry Babies. I'm Lewis Stardust.
I'm Tori the Vast.
You might notice behind me is some Oko abs. We're not talking about him today. We're talking about Duskmourn, the all brand new Magic the Gathering set. Woo!
The spooky set.
Spooky.
Highly anticipated scary movie set.
Yes, we are big fans of horror, and by that I mean Tori will watch them. Also, do you like horror?
I do. I like horror. I don't like being willingly scared.
I feel like you like a thriller, and you like a...
I like a scary mind freak type thing.
Yeah.
I don't really like gore anymore.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that. It's fine. You know, I don't want to be grossed out. I want to be like,
yeah. But this set is really good because it's like cheeky 80s horror, and then there's also like really spooky art, and we're going to talk all about that. But first, let's talk about our sponsor, TCG Player.
That's right. TCG Player is your one-stop shop for all things TCGs. Whether you play Magic, Lorcana, Flesh and Blood, One Piece, whatever it is, you can get it there. From pre-cons to singles to play boosters, whatever you want.
We have the all-new Duskmourn, which is out, so you can get that over on TCG Player. You can also go pick up Foundations. I think those are the last two sets coming out this year, but there has been so much Magic. So if you've missed anything coming out this year, was Fallout this year?
Fallout was this year.
We had Fallout this year. Ravnica Remastered came out this year, if you remember. Oko was here and OTJ this year. There's so many sets. So if you want to pick up any of those singles, pre-cons like Tori mentioned, lots of new products, old products, all that good stuff. Check it out on TCG Player.
That's right. We also have the Haunted Bundle from Duskmourn. It looks like a little TV. It's very spooky, very cool. Contains some brand new things that we're going to talk about in the Duskmourn episode.
If you want to pick up any of the cool stuff we talk about in today's podcast, you can do so by checking out TCG Player. Thank you to TCG Player for sponsoring this episode.
We love you.
We do love you.
Today's featured patron is Matt Wingrove. Thank you, Matt, for being a patron. It's patrons like you who make these episodes possible. If you want to join our Patreon, you can check the link below. We have cool rewards every month. Cool place to be. Best way to support us. And we love each and every one of you. Mwah. Come check us out.
All right, let's get into it. So Duskmourn is here. This is probably one of my most anticipated sets of the year. I feel like I keep saying that, but there was really good ones this year. We were both really excited for Bloomburrow. I think that was a smash hit. We also were really excited for OTJ. That was also a really fun set to play. Got Bristly Bill icon in there. And so for me, as a person who grew up raised on horror literally since I was like 3 years old, this was a set that felt like it was for me. It is a spooky haunted house, which I thought was a really cool concept for a Magic set because we get these planes that are so huge. They kind of just go everywhere. We know planeswalkers, they go all over the place. So having it set in like a specific house with a bunch of different rooms I thought was a really cool concept for this set. It takes place in Duskmourn, of course, and it has callbacks to classic films, classic horror films that you may love, themes and artwork. So yeah, if you are a fan of like 80s sci-fi horror, there's lots of references and callbacks to that. We'll talk about some of those references there. Tori is our lore queen for Duskmourn.
I am. I've been really much enjoying reading a lot of the stories that come out. And like the MTG articles, they've been releasing stories piece by piece. I love reading them. They also have the audios available on YouTube sometimes. They're very great. This one I could not get enough of. Read the whole thing. It was amazing. So our story here takes place in Duskmourn, where the world is the house, and the house is the world. Very cool twist. I did not see that coming. I thought it was just like a haunted house up the street they went into and it was called Duskmourn. Nope, this is the entire plane. It is the house. So we follow along the Wanderer, Nico, Kaido, Tyvar, and Zimone. And they enter this mysterious door that appears. They said that Nashi has gone missing and was, seen going through this door. So they all try to go through this moth-colored door. It's very cool, very spooky. No one knows where it came from. Once they go through the door, they end up in Duskmourn and look behind them and the door vanishes. So now they are trapped on Duskmourn. The entire story revolves around them looking for Nashi, who is missing and in search of his mother. This house is full of tricks, full of evil monsters, full of twists and turns at every corner. There's demons, there's cultists, there's a bunch of spooky stuff going on. The full story is available on the website if you'd like to read it. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but a lot of the artwork and a lot of the cards are very thematic to what's going on in the story. And it does make you enjoy the cards and the flavor more once you read the story, so definitely recommend checking it out. People who put work into it did a really good job.
I also feel like I wasn't like a story-based person until this year. I think the first one I got really into was OTJ, and they've just been like cranking them out, and with the podcast and stuff now, it's really nice to be able to like follow the lore and the stories.
It makes it really fun to connect with the cards and with the artwork once you know what what's going on inside of it.
So let's talk about all those brand new mechanics, keywords, and all the goodies that come in the set.
That's right. So we have a returning mechanic here. We have Delirium. So as long as there are 4 or more cards in your graveyard, you have a special effect on a card. I love Delirium. I love anything that's like Delve, Delirium, things to do with like what's going on in your graveyard and manipulating your graveyard. So happy to see Delirium here. New mechanic we have is Enduring. Enduring is something that you return to the battlefield as an enchantment. If it dies as a creature, or vice versa, I believe there's creatures that come back as enchantments. Very, very cool.
And this is a very enchantment-focused set, too, so we get a lot of those in this one.
There's a lot of enchantments because it kind of goes into this theme of, like, you know, spooky spells. We also have Impending. I think this one is probably my favorite. Impending, if it has an impending cost and it is paid, it enters with time counters on it. I think time counters are really fun because it's kind of just like ticking time bomb. When all the time counters are removed, it becomes a creature. Very fun. Very, very fun. I thought that one was really cool. We also have Manifest Dread.
I love this one.
Manifest Dread. A player looks at the top 2 cards of their library, puts one face down as a 2/2 creature, and the other into the graveyard. If the face down card is a creature, you can turn it up at any time by paying its mana cost.
I think it's really fun because it's kind of just like a surprise. It's like literally a jump scare.
It's don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's really cool, but I know my ass will forget the cards that I'm putting down.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to peek.
It's like what's the other ones? They're like the other manifest cards, and then the cloak
The cloak had that.
Yeah.
The manifest was, I think, the
Yes, but I feel like the dread aspect of it is like really cute and spooky, so I like this one a lot. I'm excited to try it out.
I know. I thought that. I immediately thought about you when I saw that one. I was like, manifesting dread. You're gonna love that. We also have this survival mechanic. So this is a mechanic that takes place at the beginning of your second main phase. There's different cards with different effects. But something cool that comes into effect at your second main. Thought that was really neat. This is also just a play on the whole like spooky thing, like, you know, lone survivor left in the movie who doesn't have to worry about dying, makes it out alive. I thought it was cute.
I like this too because like we should have known this set would play around graveyards a lot, but there's so much graveyard stuff, which I love to do as a Golgari player. So there's a lot to do with your graveyards.
There is
a lot of shit. So really cool.
And then we also have new cards called Rooms. Rooms are great. You get to cast one side and unlock a door immediately onto the battlefield. Once it's on the battlefield, you may pay the other half to unlock that room at sorcery speed.
And there's so many, and there's these like Japanese art style cards for them too. I thought these were a really cool design. The idea that each room is kind of like its own plane or its own space is really exciting. Yeah, I think these are a cool design. I want to see how they play. I'm very excited to try them out more, but I think it's a really cool design.
They're very powerful. Excited to see them in play in paper and see how they affect the board state, because there's just so much that they do, and there's ones for each like color too. There's just a lot. So they popped off with the rooms. They're looking real good.
All right, now that we talked about mechanics, let's get into all of the new stuff. So this set contains 4 brand new precons as well as a new product. Aside from the bundle and play boosters and collector's boosters, there is a nightmare bundle. So Tori has it right next to her head. It's a really cute little TV, and if you move it back and forth, which we'll show you on the screen, it has like one of those like cool like 80s like sci-fi spooky poltergeist things going on, which I love. I think it's a really fun design for that. I opened my box, which we'll talk about the contents inside, and I was really excited for it, but I was really sad because I'm a person who likes to keep like their jars and their boxes when something's cool. However, they have a little slit so you can close it up and keep your box all together. So I thought that was really fun. These come with 2 collector's boosters, like full collector's boosters, which are really cool, 6 play boosters, 1 of 3 horror poster canvas cards. So there's an Archon of Cruelty, Gorios Vengeance, Gorios, I'm so bad at saying that. A Living Death is an option as well. I guess I got the Vengeance one, and you got a Living Death one? Is that what it was?
You got the Gorios Vengeance?
I think so.
I got Living Death, which looks like, you know, the Evil Dead.
So there is 1 of 3 horror poster canvas, which they've done horror posters in the past, and those have always been really good, and I love these. So we have the Archon of Cruelty, which Tori really wants, and apparently I have, so I'm going to give it to the Gorios Vengeance and Living Death. And there's also posters of these cards, so this I'm really excited about. I loved getting like a CD or a DVD as a kid that had a poster in it, and I was really big on putting those in my room. So there's 3 in there. I'm gonna frame them for the studio because I think they'll be really cute on our wall over there. And they also have 1 of 3 promos that are other cards that are on the back of the poster, so you can see them on there. That's Crypt Gas, which is one of my favorite cards. Damn and Exhume, which I didn't see the Damn art yet. I'm really excited to check that out. And there's a Glow in the Dark Spin Down, and it's a cute VHS tape box inside, and the whole thing. I love this product. I think it's a really great design. I think it's a really good like gift for a horror person in your life if you enjoy that. I also think it's a really stacked box. Like, it's not just like the bundles are fine, I'll buy them, but like this is a really unique product, and I really loved what they did with this one.
This was actually something I was very excited to open. Like, I tore it open the second I got my hands on it. I could not wait to open this, especially knowing like there was a little bit of everything. Like, you get 1 of 3 special promos and twice. So you're like kind of playing this like, which one did I get twice? I love that it has 2 collector boosters. I feel like collector boosters are sometimes very, if you're on a budget, they're very hard to acquire an entire box of those. And buying single ones, it just doesn't hit right, you know? But getting 6 play boosters and the 2 collector boosters, you really get a lot of value out of this.
It's a good value box,
it's just really cool. And like you said, having the TV and the VHS tapes inside.
They did something really similar when Stranger Things came out. They made the first season on DVD, but it was like a VHS tape like that. And I just think it's a really smart design. People are so like hungry for nostalgia. I'm a person who's hungry for nostalgia. And so it gives me the feeling of like going to Blockbuster with my mom as a kid. And the design of the box is really cute too. There's like a quote from Teferi on it. I just think it's really smart design, and I love that they were like, we're gonna let you close this box so you can keep it on display. They knew people would. They knew
everyone would want it. It's good shelf candy.
Yeah, it's a very good one. So we're gonna keep that on our set forever. It's one of my favorite things ever. I'm very happy about that. So we also have some arch enemy schemes in this set. If you're not familiar with this, it's kind of like Plane Chasey, where you have like the big cards and they have different schemes. We're actually going to talk about that with our Commander game, so we'll get back to that in a little bit, unless you want to talk about anything specific. But that is something that they reintroduced with Commander. So in your pre-cons, you will have access to those cards. Each one has a different set of cards. And of course, we also were just talking about collector's boosters. So pre-cons now come with like the mini thing that has 2 cards.
2-card collector booster.
To get an idea of your collector's booster. So I think the value of that is really good.
Yes.
And we'll talk about the pre-cons in a little bit later. Let's talk about card treatments. So in the set, we have a bunch of different card treatments. The double exposure, I think, is some of my favorite. Oh my gosh.
It's a perfect color pairing too. It's like this purple and gold mixed together. The card images look really haunting. They look almost like spirits.
And some of them are different colors too. Like there's red, and then there's also gold and blue together.
Yeah.
And they remind me of like the profile arts that we love that they've been doing this year with different commanders, where it's like their side profile, but it's like eerie 80s, like really pretty bright colors. I think this is my favorite art treatment that they did in this set.
I agree. I was really excited to open some of these in the collector boosters, especially like the foiling on them is really cool. They foil them in certain spots. It looks really neat.
There was a card you wanted and then you got...
I got Nashi.
Yeah, the Nashi, and it was a really pretty one.
It's really, really cool. I got the foil version of him in the showcase and or in the double exposure, and it looks great.
I think there's like the Wanderer one I want so bad. It looks so good. It's absolutely gorgeous. They did a really good job with this. Something I also really loved is if you look in this set, there are some cards that have like regular art versions, for example, Reluctant Role Model and Stay Hidden, Stay Silent. But if you look at the background, there's also cards that have these creepy monsters in the back, which I think is like a perfect horror homage. They also have it in, oh gosh, what's the card name? Come Back Wrong. So you have like the basic art that you can get in it, and then the alternate art, which also come in play boosters, I believe. I was able to see them in both. So I thought that was a really cool design. We just went to go see Alien Romulus, and like there were so many scenes where you'd be looking at like a main character in frame and then something would pop up that would scare us. So I feel like that's a very good homage to horror, and it's done really well. So let's talk about some notable reprints.
All right, so I wrote down 3 notable reprints for me that I was excited about. The first one being Pyroclasm. There is a promo card of Pyroclasm in this set, and if you look at that little set symbol, you will notice it is legal in Standard and in Pioneer. I just thought this was a cool card. I'm excited to see it make its way into the present day formats. Love Pyroclasm. I love burn spells. I love red spells. So I was very excited to see this as a reprint.
I cannot believe the second thing you wrote. This is like my most like, this card gives me like PTSD. I don't like because of my old LGS, I wouldn't sit with people who play this card because it was too much. No.
It's only been a list.
Awful.
The next one we have AC, Tyrant of Gyre, or Gyre. AC, Tyrant of Gyre, whatever one you want to say. Straight. I don't know how to pronounce it. This was only the Commander Masters card, and it was a list card. Now it's finally in Duskmourn as a reprint. I love this commander because it was part of the Reap the Tides precon. That was the first Magic product and card I ever touched.
It was mine too.
Yeah. It was a lot of people's. I think Reap the Tides was a lot of people's first time.
I looked at it and I said I hate it, and then I went and picked up the Lathril precon when it came out, and then I built Kaalia.
It was fun to play.
Yeah. It's
horrible
a
to play
monster.
against.
Oh my god, it takes forever. It is just like, and it reminds me, gives me like flashbacks to when I first started playing Commander.
Oh, same. I'm picturing myself like first playing and being like, this card's busted.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy to see him come back. It's just like, what an homage to horrible things in the horror set. My third favorite reprint in here was Grist, the Hunger Tide. I think Grist is such a cool planeswalker. I love the stupid guy. I love his abilities. Making bugs is really fun, but also just like destroying things with his down tick is really cool. Grist can pop off really quickly. It's also just so tricky since it's like, a creature until it's on the battlefield. So it works its way around some things. It fits the theme really well, I feel like, with Duskmourn, with like the creepy bugs, and he's a creepy guy. So I was happy to see Grist in here. I mean, I don't know. He's Grist.
It's
Grist.
It's Grist. I definitely thought Grist was a lady, but maybe we're
Is
wrong.
Grist a lady?
I don't know. Who knows?
I'm looking it up.
like, she's a pretty lady. She's wearing a dress.
Where is it wearing a dress?
In my brain, because the way it looks like that's a dress.
That is not a dress.
Not in that one.
Those are like bones.
That's a bone dress.
Okay, maybe Grist. No, this is fake. Customized Magic card. That's right. All right.
What
I'm
was
getting
it?
off of Google. It was a lady with big boobies. And I was like, okay, Grist is a woman. But that's not Grist.
No.
That's a fan-made card.
Anyways,
It's making the cut.
more cards that are coming back. We have our special guest cards. So there's a bunch of good stuff this time. My personal favorite is Maddening Hex. Super, super cool to see that back. We also have Collected Company, Damnation, Expropriate, Hollowed Haunting, Noxious Revival, which is also one of my favorites, Phantasmal Image, which this art for Phantasmal Image, oh my god, it's so good. It needed a new art so bad. I absolutely love this one. Sacrifice is another card. Soul Warden, I thought the art for this was really cute and really fun. I was excited about that. I hope I open one. That's all I really want. And another one was Unholy Heat. So I love the art for Unholy Heat too. There was a lot of really good options here. I love the special guest cards because you can get them in any packs. They're not specific to collector's boosters, which usually happens with the cool arts. So having a bunch of new reprints for cards that we like really love or enjoy in certain decks and having nice art for them is really special. So I am looking for the Soul Warden and Phantasmal Image. Was there any that you were excited for?
I was excited about the Unholy Heat. Unholy Heat's cool, and the Coco.
All right. My big other thing this set is there's a lot of horror movie references. I'm just going to like quick flash a couple up here. So we have Arabelle, Abandoned Doll. That's clearly an Annabelle doll, which I don't know if you know the history of Annabelle.
Oh, I know.
She's a little raggedy and looking a little crazy. So they have a reference to that, which I think is really cool. My personal favorite though is the Jolly Balloon Man. This is a card I want to like try out in Winota. I don't know how good it's actually going to be, but for 2 Boros and 1 colorless, you get a 1/4 that has haste. For 1 colorless, you can tap it to create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control, except it's a 1/1 red balloon creature in addition to its other types and has flying and haste. It sacrifices at the beginning of the next end step and you can activate it as a sorcery. So I thought that was just like a really silly way to bring an It reference into this. The art for it is terrifying.
I hate this guy.
The art is so gross, but the profile of him is really cool, so I think I would play that over this really gross art.
Yes, the profile's fine. This one,
Yeah. I love this design, though. I think it's a really fun card. Even if it doesn't fit in Winota, I might just make it because I love it, and I've cosplayed Pennywise, and he's so special to me. I really enjoyed Comeback Wrong as well. I thought that was a really cool reference because it's very similar to Evil Dead, Dashing Bloodsucker. I was like, this looks very Ghostbustery-ish with the machine and stuff like that, but it's very Blade heavy, which
that's the vibe I got to with the glasses.
Yeah, literally all the
I
glasses
was like,
and
that's
everything.
Blade.
I'm like,
That's
it's very
cool.
Blade. It's really cute. One of my personal favorites was the Orphans of the Wheat, the Children of
It's
the Corn.
Children of the Corn.
Yeah. Isn't that good? Killer's Mask is an homage, of course, to Jason. Possessed Goat was one I loved as well. I don't know. Have you ever seen The Witch?
Yes.
Okay, so for
love the
1
witch.
mana, you get a 1/1, and it's a creature goat. Then you could pay 3 colorless to discard a card and put 3 +1/+1 counters on possessed goat, and it becomes a black demon into its other type. So it's Black Phillip, the demon, the goat.
Oh my god, they did it.
They did it. We also have the Unsettling Twins, which are, of course, the Shining Twins. And then I just put Fear of Reduction in here because it's just a classic alien card. I thought that was really cool. I love that there's UFOs in here as vehicles and, like, all these weird, funky things. I thought this was a really cool, like, card design as well. The Fear of Reduction was really cool. I like the idea of it being a nightmare. So they do a lot of just horror movie references. Honestly, there's so much more than this. A lot of the other art cards that we talked about earlier too, which I don't even know if we mentioned the Showcase Haunted Tech earlier, which are those.
We didn't. It looks like an old TV.
It looks like the old TV, and there are a lot of like pop art colors, so a lot of like neon ones, which we've seen before in Magic Art. So some of those are very referenced to this as well. So I think that's a really good card design and options for that. And I love that they made references that are like not saying, you know, obviously they can't say the specific thing, but they do enough of like an homage to it that if you enjoy horror, you'll think it's really fun. Just like Tori got excited for the Orphans of the Wheat. All right, so those are just some of my favorites. Let's talk about some cool new cards.
Cool new cards. I have 5 that I wrote down that I thought were very, very cool that I'm very excited about. First one being Kaito, Bane of Nightmares. This is the Planeswalker of the set. He's a Dimir Planeswalker, 2 mana, 1 blue, 1 black. It has ninjutsu. For 1 mana, a black and a blue. We love to see it.
The +1 ability is so good.
All the ability. This card's insane. Yeah. So during your turn, as long as Kaito has 1 or more loyalty counters on him, he's a 3/4 ninja creature with hexproof. Already annoying. And he comes in at 4. So he already has that. So like, what are you going to do? You can plus him up 1, and you get an emblem with ninjas you control get +1/+1. For 0, you get to surveil 2. So you're surveilling 2 for free. And then you draw a card for each opponent who lost life this turn. And as if it couldn't get more broken, you -2, and you can tap a target creature and put 2 stun counters on it. This card is insane. Not only do I love it because it's busted and insane, I also love it because Kaito in the story is one of the characters we follow the entire time. Just a really cool character. Really, really like him.
I'm really happy that we have him again because like his introduction to oh my god, Kamigawa, I just thought he was a really cool character design. So I'm happy that he's coming back in this way, and we'll like learn more about him.
We have a lot of Kamigawa characters coming back from this set. And I was very excited about that because I love Kamigawa. I know you do too. So yeah, just really cool. Another card I love is Doomsday Excruciator. This is a demon that costs 6 black. It is a 6/6 flyer, and when it enters, if it was cast, each player exiles all but the bottom 6 cards of their library face down. It's Doomsday, but on a demon. I love it. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card. So I just thought this was really cool. It's very different. I'm not sure how this is going to affect play yet, if I use it in like Kalia or anything. But I just thought he was really cool. I was very excited to see him. I think Doomsday is a cool card. I like that on the full art. It is like someone's glasses seeing him coming. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, it's like, it's just really neat.
Those are more horror movie references as well, so they did a really good job with those.
Yeah, it just really knocked it out of the park. I have Enduring Courage, which is one of the, we'll get into those later, the Enduring cards. He's an enchantment creature. He's a dog glimmer. So these glimmers are very powerful. This one is just whenever another creature you control enters, it gets +2/+0 and haste until end of turn. And when it dies, if it was a creature, you return it as an enchantment. 3/3 for 4 mana.
That's where all those enchantments come into. Like all these glimmers have the enchantment abilities with it, so it's pretty fun.
Yes. I also put down the Enduring Curiosity, the anime version, which is the kitty cat. It's adorable. This is the blue Curiosity or Enduring creature. So this one has a flash. It's a 4/3. Whenever you have a creature that deals combat damage, you draw a card. Love card draw, so already excited about that. And he's kind of thick. He's a 4/3. So like you'll probably get in there to get some damage. And it's also the same thing. When it dies, you return it as an enchantment. I love a twofer, as we know. And then my last card that I added here was the Hedge Shredder, which is an artifact. It is a green artifact. It's for 2 colorless and 2 green. And it's a 5/5, and whenever it attacks, you may mill 2 cards, and whenever 1 or more land cards are put into your graveyard from your library, you put them onto the battlefield tapped, and it's crew 1. busted. And also, it's lands. It's Bill. It's Bill time. I love that card. I think Hedge Shredder is super cool and excited to see what it does.
I got a bunch of cards. So I put Gleeful Arsonist. So that is a human wizard. It is a 1/2. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, Gleeful Arsonist deals damage equal to its power to that player, Undying. I thought it was a really cool card design. The art for it is fantastic, and I like anything that just like punishes a player for doing something, especially in red. So it's gonna be really fun. Like, is it Spellslinger deck? I think will be it's a good card for decks like that too. I also really like Cynical Loner. So this is a 1 colorless and 1 black, and it can't be blocked like Glimmers. The 3/1 that has survival, and at the beginning of your second main phase, if it's tapped, you may search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, and then shuffle. So it's just like a put an Entomb into your graveyard, whatever card you want to do. That's pretty good. For literally 2 mana. Super cheap. I thought that was a really fun design as well. There's a lot of gremlins in this set. They are so freaking cute. I saved the Gremlin Tamer because I thought that card was really fun. I'm looking forward to making just a little cute guys deck of all these gremlins because there's a lot of fun red ones in the deck too, or in the set rather. I also like the Leyline of Transformation. I thought that was a really cool card design. Meathook Massacre 2. It's back. It's the sequel. It's very different from Meathook, but similar, so I think it's cute enough design, and I really love the art for this. I also liked Cryptid Inspector because you know me, I love my cryptids, and I thought Marina's Grimoire was pretty cool. So this one says, when it enters, if you cast it, you draw 5 cards. You have no maximum hand size and don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. Whenever you gain life, you draw that many cards, and whenever you lose life, discard that many cards. Then if you have no cards in hand, you lose the game. I just think it's a really fun design. Again, it's 5 colorless and 1 blue to cast it, so it's a little expensive, but I just like cards that have weird effects like that. There's some stuff in here too, like the lands that came out that are like 13 life. What was it? It was something like,
if you have 13 life, it like comes in tapped or something like that.
Something like that. We'll throw it up on the screen.
Don't quote me on that.
Don't quote me, but 13 life. So I like that there's like references to things that feel very horror focused and I think are really cool in there. We talked about some new cards, so let's talk about Commanders. What are you looking to build, Tori?
New Commanders. You know me. I like playing stuff everybody hates. So for my Commanders, the first one I picked was Valgavoth, the Terror Eater. Valgavoth is one of the main antagonists of Duskmourn. He is, spoiler for the story, skip ahead if you don't want to hear this, 10 seconds. Valgavoth is the creature that Marina befriends in the basement, demon. And he's evil. He's horrible. He's a horrible demon. And I was like, oh my god, he's so cool. I gotta know more about Valgavoth. The card itself is so cool. He costs a lot, though. That's the only issue. He is 6 colorless and 3 black, but mono black, mana crypt, we'll get there.
Yeah. Cryptcast.
He's a 9/9. He's got flying and lifelink. He's got ward, sack 3 permanents. Disgusting. Disgusting card. If a card you didn't control will be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you exile it instead. Annoying. During your turn, you may play cards exiled with Valgavoth, and if you cast a spell this way, you pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. This card is so annoying in so many ways. That's why he's so expensive, because otherwise it'd be just even more disgusting. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, this is gross. Gotta play him. So definitely going to be building Valgavoth, the Terror Eater. And then Nashi, Searcher in the Dark. I was so excited to open the Nashi in the double exposure foil. Card is beautiful. Nashi is a menace 2/2 rat for a blue and a black. Super cheap, which I love. I love a cheap commander. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you mill that many cards. You may put any number of legendary or enchantment cards from among them into your hand, actually. Both. Why not? And if you don't put cards into your hand, you put a +1/+1 counter on Nashi. So I love this for multiple reasons. One, I love that if you whiff, you just get counters. So you're not like losing out on this. The commander's super cheap. If he gets removed, you could just bring him back very easily. And also, I never play Dimir and I never play Mill. So this is like an entire new theme for me to explore by building Nashi. And he's a cute little rat. And there's so much rat support. Yeah. There's so many rats in Bloomburrow. There was blue-black rats. So it's not even going to be too hard to find cool rats for the deck.
Very fun. I love all those. I got on my list Marina Vendrell. You know me. I love a pretty girl. I love a pretty woman that's made by Magali, beautiful, and I love a 5-color deck. So when I saw this, I realized it does all the things I want to do with this set. So she is a 3/5, and when she enters, you reveal the top 7 cards of your library. You put all enchantment cards from among them into your hand, and the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order. You can also tap to lock or unlock a door of target room you control. Activate only as a sorcery. So obviously the set is really focused on those cute glimmers and enchantments, and also the set is really focused on rooms. So this is a good way to like just straight up buy a box and like build from the bulk that you have. I feel like it's a really cool, resourceful way to build this deck because a lot of those cards are going to be in there. Obviously, I enjoy Enchantress type decks. I did a whole set this build that was really fun, so I feel like a lot of those cards will translate well over here. And having access to like 5 mana sources means you get to do a lot of really cool stuff with it, so I'm excited for that. A card that Tori gave me because I wanted it was Toby, Beastie Befriender. So I thought this card was really cute. It's a mono white deck. It's a 1/1, so it's just a little guy. But when Toby enters, you create a 4/4 white beast creature token with this creature can't attack or block alone. As long as you control 4 more creature tokens you control have flying. So I thought this was a really cute design. I love cards that make specific tokens. So like Tatsunari makes Kami, things like that I think are really fun. I also have a bunch of toys that I want to put in this deck because this set has a lot of like creepy toys, so I thought that would be a cool way to do that, or put into the Annabelle deck that I was talking about earlier. And then I also have Rip Spawn Hunter. So this is 1 green, 1 white, and 2 colorless for a 4/4 human survivor. It has survival, so at the beginning of your second main phase, if Rip was tapped, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is its power. Put any number of creatures and or vehicle cards with different powers from among them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. So I thought this was also a cool card design. I don't play a lot of green-white, and also it just reminded me of like a very Ripley-esque character. Makes sense. Very like Ghostbuster-ish. So I thought that was a cool card design. I'm going to try and see if I can make something work with this. Maybe we'll do with our patrons on a build. But yeah, I thought that was a fun one that I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, I think it's also cool that you have a commander with one of the survival mechanics being its whole thing.
Yeah.
Very, very neat.
Very, very fun. Let's talk about these cute Japan exclusives. So we mentioned a couple of them earlier. There are some really cute ones. I really want the little sheep. You got the cat that was adorable.
I did, and I want the Shiba. There's a Shiba one. I have to get it. So the Japanese anime exclusives are the Enduring cards and the Overlords. They each come in one of the colors from the color pie. So there's a blue one, a green one, red one. The Enduring cards are enchantment creatures. They're little glimmers. Glimmers are kind of like in the story, the manifestation physically of your dreams and your hopes and desires, and they lead you to things. So I thought that was really cute that they take place as like a little creature. Cutting this from the doc kind of reminded me of Harry Potter.
I know, I literally was thinking that too.
I literally was like reading it. I was like, Steve, I was like,
Patronus.
they made Patronuses. But yeah, they're really, really cool. I think they look awesome. I love like the treatment of them. They're really cute, and they're like glowing and they're gold. And the Overlords
are terrifying and
they're
disgusting.
terrifying. They are all enchantment creatures with the impending cost. So like the impending we said earlier with the countdown. There's one in each color. We can throw them up on the screen so you can read them.
Oop, that's okay. So scary.
Very, very scary. I think the artwork on these is really, really cool. We got the Overlord of the Hauntwoods. That was, I think, like the moth-looking one.
I don't remember.
He's got like his arms out.
That's what it looks like. It looks like this.
It looks
it's
like
disgusting.
that. Oh, we have it right
Gross.
here.
We love it.
Yes.
I don't know how rare these are in packs. I got one in my collector's booster box, and that was the little cat. That was the only one that we got in there. So I thought they would be much harder to find. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's one in every box. If that is cool, that would be really, really awesome because I want to open some of them. But yeah, I want quite a few of these cards, and I think they did a really good job of like, at least in the collector's boosters, there's a lot of variety between each of the different printings, so you get a lot of cool cards, which it's not like you're seeking through and it's a lot of the same cards. And so let's talk a bit about those Commander precons. We mentioned earlier that they have quite a few different things in there. So they come now with those collector's boosters mini packs that they have that are like 2 cards.
The like 2-card collector booster little pamphlet inside of it, and these precons specifically contain the arch enemy cards.
Yeah,
that's right. Arch enemy was something that was previously in an older set from before my time. I can't remember which one it was.
Ye olden days of Magic.
The old days. I'm pretty sure it was one of the Nico Bolas things I remember seeing it on like Scryfall, because when I heard of Arch Enemy, I was like, what
is
in the
this?
world is that? I have no idea.
But now it's very commander focused.
But now it is another way to enjoy a multiplayer game. So you can either play these precons, you know, as themselves, just as precons, or you can play Arch Enemy, which is a 3-on-1 game.
I also like when a set feels like the decks work together really well. Something I really liked about Fallout was that all of the mechanics worked really well together. And what was the thing for that in Fallout?
What, the rads?
Yeah, the rad counters felt like it worked really well together as a deck. I feel like these are going to work really well together as a deck as well. So I like that is a design that you could play with like 4 friends and have your arch enemy and do things that way, which I think is a really cute thing. So there are some updated rules. You can go find that on the Wizards website on there, and then they have some info in the boxes as well. So yeah, you can check that out if that's what you want to do. But we got a bunch of new commanders. They're so fun. We did get to play these precons. Thank you to Wizards of the Coast. They sponsored our precon video, and they gave us some cool options for what we can do. We played Arch Enemy, and this was our first time, at least for us. Steve is a veteran in this. This is what he does. He knows Arch Enemy. He's the guy.
He is the enemy.
So if you want to check out that video, it might be live. It might also be coming out like next week, depending on when this video goes live. But you can see us playing the decks. You can see us playing Arch Enemy. You can see us having a good spooky old time. So we're going to talk a little bit about those decks and what's inside them. So there's a couple different options. I know that I was heavily gravitating towards the Rakdos and the Golgari decks in this set, but they're all really cool, and they all have really good flavors. So the face card for the Esper's deck is Aminatu, which also has the Master of Keys, which I thought was a really cool design.
I like the Master of Keys.
Yeah.
I think he's so spoopy and creepy, and I love him.
I thought it was a really good design. I thought the Aminatu was really nice because I love seeing our Planeswalkers as actual characters, so you can play those as decks now, which is really fun. For the Golgari deck, I loved the Scarecrow. So Renmaw Creaking Nest, that card was really cool for a card design. I personally feel like the face cards are fine in the set, like they're good, but I liked all of the other options a lot.
Me too.
Yeah, so I really like that Scarecrow card. I thought that was really fun, with the exception of the Valgoth.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, he's cracked. What a really, really fun design. I really like it for a Rakdos deck. The Lord of Pain that comes with that also is really cool. Gross design, the creepy televisions. Zimone's back. Really cool to see her. Really cool card. I know there is like some mathy stuff with the landfall. My brain does not work that way, but it is a cool design. And Winter is a brand new character that we got introduced to the set. They are in the Golgari set as well, but there's also a Jund card for them. So if you're interested in checking out that character, we do have quite a few options. We talked about right away, what was it, Cayenne? Is that what it's called? The Simic card?
Yeah,
this card was pretty cool. Tori immediately texted me and was like, can we talk about this? It's an illusion that's a 2/2, and if its power is even, you may cast non-creature spells as though they had flash, and if its power is odd, you may cast creature spells as though they had flash, and when you draw a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Pretty cheap for 2 colorless and Simic. Pretty good. I thought that was a really cool card design. Might be something I build around.
Yeah, I was really excited for that. I think Flash is really fun. It's a
Love
mechanic
Flash.
that I don't play enough of, and I would love to have like a Flash themed type deck.
Oh, there's so many Flash cards, especially in this set too.
Yeah, so I thought that would be really fun to try. I definitely like that card over the Zimone card, just because it just seems a little more different. And I play Landfall, as we know.
Yeah, I like that it does the Manifest Dread stuff though. I think that's really fun. I just know I will forget at least the first couple times I put what the cards are and to do the thing.
Yeah.
But I do like that feels like a very like gotcha, like jump scare spooky moment. And I think that they do that a lot in this set because it is classic horror. Like, of course, we talked about the enchantments earlier. It is like casting spells. It is very horror based. But I think the Manifest Dread and some of these other mechanics too feel very like true to horror, which I think is a good design. So they kind of smashed it.
They did.
With this set.
I gave it a boom.
They did a really good job with this. Do you have any like pros or cons or things that were you anticipating liking the set this year?
I didn't actually anticipate. I'll be dead honest. I wasn't looking forward to this set because I was just like, that's a haunted house, whatever. That's like out of ideas. Like I was not a Dustmorn hater, but I was just like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to read the story. Let me see if this changes my expectations. And that was when I really was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I'm not even being like a, you know, wizard's pilled. I really had no idea that the house was like the world, and that the house is like eating things and is like a living, breathing,
it's a beautiful storytelling
entity. And it's just a very cool spin. Like, I thought this was just house up on a hill, and like Jace is walking in there with a flashlight and they see a ghost, and I was like, nah, whatever. I didn't realize it was much deeper than that, and it had just like really cool creatures and demons and all these really cool things. And at first I was like, oh, are the callbacks to horror gonna just be like, you know, there's a guy with a
Cheesy,
sword
and then,
coming after Vraska? No, it's like really, really cool. There's like cults and demons, and it fit well in Magic's storytelling and in Magic's lore. So it very much surprised me. Mechanics are really cool. The cards are really pretty. And now I'm completely flipped around. I'm very excited about it, and I think it's going to be a really fun, memorable experience. And also just seeing the new product, like the TV bundle thing, just awesome. They knocked it out of the park with the design.
I super like wonder if they can come back to a set like this because it's so unique and so original, which I'm like, I don't know.
Well,
the
if
sequel,
you read the story.
Yeah. I think it's a really good overall design. A lot of people, I think, were voicing their concerns about it being a cheesy horror because they did a lot of promotion for it being very 80s horror, which is something they kind of talked about early, which I don't know why they'd be surprised because we had a Stranger Things secret lair and we had cards that were like focused around that, right?
Yes.
The one thing about horror is like when somebody asks me my favorite horror movie is, I'm like, that's an impossible question because there's so many subgenres, like genres of horror. So you have the like creepy haunted dolls, and you have the creepy bugs, and you have the campy Ghostbusters and 80s horror and the Poltergeist, and then you have this very like grim and dark, terrifying demon, gross creatures. Like there's so many elements of horror that they brought in this, and they've done horror before, right? We've seen Innistrad, we've seen Midnight Hunt, we've seen like these sets that are really focused in horror, but this was so different and felt like to me like a truly scary set, one, and two, homage and like love to horror, and that's something I think a lot of people enjoy. People like to be scared, and I feel like some of these arts were like terrifying but not like gruesome and like gory and gross. They were scary, they were fun, they were exciting. This is a very fresh set. We talked about, like you were saying, you thought it was just going to be like a basic house, but to know that they put so much depth into each room and what that means for it, it's just so cool. I love it. It's a really good design set. So we're getting towards like the ends of the sets this year. We have like foundations and maybe some other stuff coming out. I don't really know what's coming out, but I would love for end of year to also talk about all of our sets this year and kind of like talk about our favorite things. I definitely think for me, this is one that's up there. That's one I'm going to like, I don't know how it's going to play to draft with people, but I know that there are a lot of decks I want to make from this, and I think it's memorable, and we could play Archenemy and we could have these things from this set. So I think it's really cool. And I also love that you can just build a really cool deck with a box, because I could just use a bunch of rooms and make something really unique and different every time. So I like that a lot. If you want to check out Duskmourn, go ahead and check out TCG Player. We've linked all that information in our description down below. We've had a lot of fun checking out these decks and this set, and we hope that you enjoyed this video too.
That's right. And if you want to support our channel, be sure to check us out on Patreon, support us on Bonfire, and leave a like and a comment. Helps us more than you think it does. And if you're on Spotify or Apple, throw us a like, throw us a 5-star, thumbs up, leave us a review. Tell us what you want to see, what you want to hear, and what you want from us.
And you can let us know what you're most excited for in Duskmourn, or what you're looking to pick up and what you're looking to play, because there's so many cool new things. So thank you for checking out this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.